Did you know that studies have shown that hospital patients who have suffered a physical trauma who were allowed to play video games as part of their recovery needed less painkillers over time? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 54. My name's Gareth Brody, I'm your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How are you doing, James?
Hello, I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. There's a slight pause every time, and it always worries me that you've escaped. You just think that's it.
I think should I go quiet and pretend I'm not here? Or shall I carry on?
One day I'm gonna hear a door closing. That'll be it. Just gone. We never see it. And on my virtual right is Mr. Edgar Wolf. How you doing, Edgar?
I'm good. How are you? Hello.
Hello. Good.
Good evening.
Yeah, everyone's up.
Good day. Good morning, wherever you are.
Good. Good morning to everyone. Right. Welcome. What have we been doing this week? James, what have you been up to? No, I'm not going to start with you, James.
Oh.
I'm gonna not start with you. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to start with Edgar instead.
It's nothing important anyway.
We'll come back to you, I promise you. Edgar, what have you been doing?
So I recently watched a movie called The Platform. It's a Spanish horror movie. I think it's exclusive for Netflix.
Ooh.
How do I sum it up? Basically, it's about characters who get locked up in this facility willingly. They don't know what's going to happen to them, but if they endure a set amount of time, they will receive some sort of reward. So what happens is the main character, he wakes up in this facility. He's in a room with another character. There are beds. There's a sink, a toilet. It basically looks like a prison cell. And there's a hole in the middle. So they're being fed through that hole. Every day a platform comes from above, and the platform is basically like a table. It's full of food from a restaurant above. And for a few minutes every day, they get to pick foods from that table and eat. And then the platform goes down to the next floor, and they can even see people above and below them. So they can't get out. They can't get food aside from the platform. And as I said, their goal is to endure and survive off of that food for a set amount of time to receive a particular reward. It varies based on character. The trick is that if you're on the lower platforms, it's unlikely that the food will reach you. So the people on the top floors will consume everything. And if you're 100 levels below, the table's going to be empty. Every month, the characters get switched up. So let's say in the beginning, you might be on floor 10, which is one of the upper floors. And then you wake up a month later on a floor 100, and you don't get any food. Wow. So the characters on the bottom floors might start resorting to cannibalism. That's where things get really...
So that's where it gets to, and it gets, without you spoiling anything.
But gets really nasty. But I would say the cannibalism isn't even the most disturbing thing about the movie. What I really liked about it was that it basically explores the theme of gluttony, which is a carnal sin in essence. This movie somehow, when you watch these characters eat and how they eat, how they consume food with, like, their life depends on it, and there's this like creepy music alongside it, which makes the consumption of food extremely disgusting.
No.
I've never felt that disgusted seeing people eat. So
wow, this sounds good. I've never heard of this.
It's a very good horror movie. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in recent years. It's very unsettling, but I like the sort of the subject matter it explores.
And it sounds like it's a bit of an analogy for like class as well, like the top people of the thing and the levels. Like, getting fed down, you've got the scraps at the bottom.
Sounds about Snowpiercer.
Yeah,
More extreme.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And that's on Netflix, possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I've been watching something else. I've been watching The Handmaidens Tale season 3, which is, if you haven't seen The Handmaidens Tale, because it was started off on Hulu. Hulu, is that right?
Hulu.
Yeah. And then it went to Now TV and to Sky for a bit, and now you can get all 3 seasons on Amazon. I really recommend watching The Handmaidens Tale. And it's based on, people don't know, a Margaret Atwood novel from about 1987. And the idea behind The Handmaidens Tale is America has formed a new society called Gilead. And Gilead has new rules, and it's quite a new world order, very, very religious, almost quite right wing. So and for women, it's not great. So basically, women can be either 3 things or 4 things. The first is a wife of the commanders, and they wear blue. The second is someone called a Martha, and they wear brown and they do all the menial work. And the other one is a handmaiden. And the handmaiden is people who are, because there's been a problem in the world where fertility rates are down, people are not giving birth anymore. But handmaidens can give birth. So they're the special ones. So they are basically, they live with the husband and the wife, the commander and the wife, and their role is to be impregnated. And that's a really basic setup.
That sounds dark, doesn't it?
It's very dark.
It's dark.
But it's a brilliant watch. It's a brilliant piece of filmmaking. The camera does amazing things. It stays on. And it's Elizabeth, who's the actress? Mad Men. Yeah.
She's in The Invisible Man.
An Invisible Man, yeah. And she's brilliant.
Yeah.
The camera's very close on her face all the time. But it's really worth watching. It's very dystopian, very dark. Sometimes it's a bit like a documentary at the moment. But it's good. It's really good. So I'd really worth seeing that.
Yeah, I started watching that on Channel 4.
Oh, yeah.
Back in must be a year or so ago now.
Yeah.
But it didn't stay on demand for long.
That's right.
So now it's on Amazon.
Yeah, all 3
I'll
seasons.
get into it.
Yeah, and it's only
good.
gone up to 3 at the moment before COVID. Yeah. And also, I've done a short film, so I've been madly doing that. So that's what I've been doing this week. So I'm a bit rushed this week for the podcast because I did a short film. It's called Last Day, and it's out up until this weekend on YouTube, and it's doing festivals. So type in Gareth Briley Last Day, and you'll see it. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I feel embarrassed, but it's doing well. It's doing well. It's doing all right.
I have seen it's got a few awards.
It's won a few awards.
So, I mean, it must be decent.
It must be all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's good. Have a watch. Nothing about games. It's got some things there.
Who cares about games?
Who cares about games? James, on that note, let's talk about what you've been doing this week.
Well, I mean, I don't think you want to hear what I've been watching.
What are you
It's
watching?
a lot of rubbish in comparison. Just stuff like Hairy Bikers,
Good.
Judge Judy, all the classics.
Oh my word.
4 in the Bed.
4 in a bed. What's that?
It's not what you think.
Oh.
It's when you go around for the breakfast and rate them and pay them what they think it's worth. and it always kicks off on the final day.
Wow! So they go to a B&B and they say, I think this is worth £12.50. And they say it's 80 quid.
Well, basically, yeah.
Wow.
Some go, I wouldn't even pay that for a hostel. You know, it's not worth it. And they throw the money back at them. It really kicks off sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's great. Good casual viewing.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've been trying to find more virtual things to do. You know, seeing as the current pandemic means that we can't really do a lot these days, can we?
No.
They're looking at online concerts.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have ever partaken in an online concert
No.
or watched one.
Not yet.
No. Or a theatre show.
I've done a theatre show.
It's the future, I think, really. I mean, the way things are going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found some Korean concerts, which is my, obviously, that is my current fandom.
Yeah.
Can we say? So yeah, I found 2 concerts that I wouldn't normally be able to see without this current situation. So I am looking forward to enjoying a little bit of Korean rock, a little bit of Korean reggaeton and hip hop.
Wow. And so have you been to these concerts yet?
No, I've got the tickets now.
Ah, so you can feed back on that. Because I'm really interested to see what a concert's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many tickets do they sell for it? Are you all in the same room together, like a Zoom thing? Or are you just watching it happen in front of you?
I think one of them seems to be as many as they can sell.
Right.
So I don't know how they can do that.
Yeah.
I think it'd just be a live stream, like on YouTube or something, exclusive. But yeah, it didn't seem to be a limit.
It'd be good if you could press something on your keyboard and a little lighter comes out, and puts it in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a feature that I'm dying for.
No.
But yeah, I thought it's a way to see something I wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Which is good. I look forward to that.
There is a massive thing about this, and it's really interesting because, Edgar, before I roam on about my thing, have you watched anything online recently, a live show?
Maybe like a recording, but not like a live thing, no.
The theatre stuff is quite interesting. It's working well. A lot of people are making shows for Zoom. Before the lockdown, I met someone about theatre-wise, and they were a company that basically did a subscription service for VR. And what you do is you pay £6 a month, like a Netflix, and you get to watch theatre shows in VR, and you get a VR headset as part of that subscription. And when they film it, they put the person with an audience, so you can look to your right, look to your left, and you'll see that audience reacting with you. This is very different, of course. This is about going on Zoom, and that's the ones I've seen, or joining in. But you're sort of sharing it with people, which is part of the buzz, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
with the concert.
more immersive.
Yeah, you want to. Now, it'd be really interesting with that concert, James. If you could talk to people, is there a chat thing going on, or is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I mean, it's all a little bit, simple, as in you'll get a link at the time, and then you've got to hope that one, that the link works.
Yeah.
And two, that what happens after that. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It's good if they can react. I mean, Twitch have been doing this really well for a few years, haven't they? And
absolutely.
And it makes us. I think we had this discussion before about, which is going to lead us on nicely to some next section, but about whether game events like EGX or the LA one that I always forget the name, E3, will go back to that, because they've done these online announcements and game shows over the summer.
Yeah.
DC did one, a very successful one. We did a thing on it. Do they?
Yeah.
Do they want to go back? It's an interesting thing, isn't it? What do you think? Do you think they would?
I'm hoping there was some kind of middle ground.
Yeah.
Because I think you still can't really beat being there on the ground, playing the games, seeing them in person. That is an unmatched experience, I think. But the way that DC did it, it delivered really good content to everyone, no matter where you are, at the same time. And it seemed organised quite well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did a combination of the two.
What about you, Edgar? Yeah.
I think for the time being, it'll probably, when it's possible, it'll probably return to normal. But in terms of the future, I think they'd be interested in making it all online and digital. So our human interactions will be a thing of the past eventually. It's very dystopian now that I think about it, when you were guys talking about the concerts and how you see other people in headsets. Like, it's part of the current circumstances now, but when you think that it will be the way we consume content in the future, it's a little unsettling.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on the thing, and I'm on the positive side of that. There are people who can't get to concerts, or there are people that can't get to events, and that might be due to health, that might be due to financial support. So having the emergence of Zoom, not the emergence because it's been going for years, but having the kind of like everyone be able to use Zoom and Skype, and people be able to do lessons online, or like university or conference things that people are signing up to every day, is something good for those people that have a social connection, which they might not have had before. I'm being devil's advocate here. I'm playing that card. But I know exactly what you mean.
It's a good point. Yeah. I think for people who can't, for whatever reason, that's a great option. I'm more worried about if it becomes the norm for everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my thing with E3 is, I think maybe has PlayStation dropped out the year before, and they weren't going to do this one if it would have happened.
Yes.
So, and Xbox might be looking at it and going, actually, we're happy with what we did on our announcements. I think you're absolutely right about having events that people can like when we went to EGX, which I think is the one I went to last October, that's more of you're going there and you're playing games and you're meeting developers. I think that's really important still. But as a place to showcase your up and coming things, maybe they might go, because they're paying a lot of money for that as well. They're paying a lot of money to those spaces to hire them out. So I think there might be. It'd be interesting. We'll see. The new norm is called. Is it new normal? The new yes. Which leads us on to Xbox seemingly announcing this digital launch event on the day before the consoles. Edgar, what do you see from this? Is it interesting? What do you think they're going to do? Is it just
I'm not really excited about these sort of showcases lately, because most of them end up falling flat. So I'm not sure what to even expect of this. What are they going to show? What are they going to say? Maybe it's going to be great, but I'm kind of expecting that it's going to be just more of a reiteration of things that we already know.
Yeah. What about you, James? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't understand the point of it, to be honest.
I quite totally agree. Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to get out of it, apart from maybe it's going to be a last-minute advertisement of what the Xbox Series can do. That's what I'll be talking about the console and showing some stuff. That's what it'll be.
Do you think there'll be any surprises that will go, like they might go, look, you can do this on the console. Maybe you can do this on the console.
You can turn it on. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they could have some little bonuses and little things. I mean, you never know. You two are not convinced, are you, at all? I don't blame you. I mean, it's quite hard. It's like a publicity for the console that no one can. Half the people we know can't get hold of yet because they've missed the pre-orders.
By the way, I would have said the same thing James said, but I didn't want to sound as harsh. But I fully agree.
Oh dear. Okay, yeah. So anyway, this is going to happen on the 9th at the moment, isn't it? That's the day before.
Well, you can attend it, Gareth.
I will have to attend it, won't I? I think what we are going to do a podcast because the console's nearly upon us. It's getting closer, isn't it? I think we're going to do a little special podcast. We're going to do a goodbye to Xbox One the week before, but we're going to do a special one on the 11th for some people who maybe we can get some hands-on and just tell us what it's about. But let's move on. Let's go into... I think you two have had a good look at this, haven't you? There was a trailer for a new console game, the Xbox Series X and S. Scorn had a gameplay trailer, didn't it? Edgar, you've just had a look at this a while ago, haven't you? Very quickly, very shortly. What do you think?
Yeah, I was almost done with the video, but I watched like 10 minutes out of the 14 or something. It was enough to sort of gather my impression about the game, and I'm not really crazy about it. I think it looks very bland. It's evident that the inspirations are from Alien and Prometheus. You can see that in the environments, the weapons, the monsters. But overall, it looks very bland. It doesn't seem to have much substance. For me, it looks like your typical launch title. It's meant to showcase the console's graphical prowess and not much beyond that. I think a game like The Medium, which is, I'm comparing it because it's also a horror game, but it's also a launch title. Well, Scorn isn't, but I needed something to compare it to. I think The Medium looks way more impressive, way more interesting.
Yeah.
Way more nuanced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, disappointed on this one. But who knows?
James?
Yeah, I watched it and I thought, when does it get scary?
Exactly.
It looks odd and the environments are quite grim, but never once do you think that you're in that much danger. I mean, the enemies, they look weird, but they're actually a little bit cute as well. And at one point, I thought that old saying of, "Are we the bad guys?" It was like we were destroying their land.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree. Did you think? Did you see a kind of a graphical leap there? Did it look impressive to you or not?
No, not to me.
Both of you, yeah. What do you think? Not for you, James. What about you, Edgar?
No.
Yeah, I think it looks good. As I said, it kind of looks like a graphical showcase for a new console, and it seems to lack in substance. And one more thing that I wanted to add is the combat looked very uninspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Like the weapons are certainly, they don't exactly look cool, but they look interesting. The way the character seems to combine some sort of alien, I don't know, beings, whatever they are, they seem to be living. The way he combines them and turns them into different weapons. But when it comes to the combat, whenever he shoots, I don't know, it just feels very bland, and there's no sensation of like impact from the weapon.
No.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, there you go. That's first impressions here from Scorn. That's coming out in 2021, and it's going to be on Game Pass. But maybe have a look at the video yourself and let us know what you think. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. Did you see the NBA 2K21 mishap they had?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So the NBA 2K21, I've just rushed through that, haven't I? Because I can't say it properly. I always mess up. The basketball game is they've been under fire because they had unskippable ads in the game, which they've apologised for and said they won't be. You'll be able to skip. What do we think about this? This is What do you think about ads in games? Let's talk about ads in games. Having ads in games. James, who do you think? What's the good, bad?
I mean,
terrible.
It depends, because we've always seen adverts on the advertising boards in FIFA, and these are take it to the next level. These are proper adverts.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Well, before the game. I don't know what they were thinking with that, really. And I think the worst part is that they didn't put them in from day one. They put them in later on, which I presume is to avoid reviews.
Yeah.
Find it out.
Because I didn't know. I had it originally. I didn't see this at all.
Yeah, I had that in UFC 4.
Wow.
As in, I wrote the review, and then the next update, there was these, it was Amazon video ads. I think it was for the boys.
Mm-hmm.
In the pre-match, or the pre-fight build-up. I thought, wow, what a sneaky move.
Yeah.
I know the worst part is that if you're going to do it, be forthcoming with it. I can do it from day one, and then take the backlash. There's no need for them. You make enough money, especially out of the in-game purchases.
Yeah. Edgar, you on the same page here? I think we all are, aren't we? A little bit.
I'm going to say that I'm not surprised, and at the same time, I'm barely holding off a tidal wave of swear words coming out of my mouth. I despise 2K so much for this, and I don't even know where to begin. Yes, as James said, FIFA has advertisements on billboards, but it's not quite the same because, well, real world football has advertisements on billboards. So it only makes sense that a FIFA game would have the same advertising. But when you put full-on commercials in a video game that you paid a full price for, you are, I don't know who's in charge of making those decisions, but you're a scumbag. And I would say the same thing to the whoever at EA made this decision in UFC, because I think it was like a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And there was a huge debacle about UFC having the advertisements for the boys right in the middle of the fight.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. And I think what they're doing is they're basically testing the waters.
Yeah.
They want to see how far they can push. And if consumers let them push, which I'm glad to see that they're not, but if consumers let them push, they would do it. They just apologize now. For 2K, from 2K for NBA 2K, they basically said in response that it wasn't intended that way. Bullshit. It was intended. It was planned. They wanted to see how far they can push, and those commercials will come back in the future again and again until we get used to them, like microtransactions. It's really sad.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Everything you said there. I think it's a dangerous precedent, and I think it's something. I think as gamers, you just got to say no to straight away. And it's about. I think James hit a point. It's with the Football Manager games. They've had adverts, and they advertise for a charity. I think it's War Child, or they've done it for a long time.
It is, yeah.
And I think if you're going to use adverts, especially for companies like that, like EA, like 2K, because they're big companies, they make a lot of money before this happens. I mean, I'm thinking, what is the model? Is it like a free to play game? If you're playing a free to play game, is that all right to have adverts in the middle of it?
I mean, you expect it more,
Yeah.
but again, you get a bit sick of it, and you just not play it anymore.
Yeah.
It happens in mobile games.
Yes, of
You
course.
get more time.
Yeah.
And I just haven't got time for that.
Let me put another thing. If you had what about indie games? So if you had indie games, a sort of like a £7 really good, decent indie game, but in order for them to survive, they said we need to get an advert in the game halfway through.
I'm not sure.
My answer would be no. First of all, no, they don't. They don't need adverts to survive. And secondly, if they do, they should raise the price of the game. That's it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'd rather play a bit more without adverts.
Good. That's very definite. I like that, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Let's move on to a couple of other bits of news because we're running out of time. The Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There was an announcement about DLC, and the DLC which is coming out. They have a sort of very definite plan, Assassin's Creed, don't they, about exactly what their DLC plan is. It's coming out at this point. So next year there's going to be 2 story DLCs, which is kind of what they've done before. And one's going to be set in Paris, and the other one in Ireland, which is kind of interesting. And of course, I think they're going to have their discovery mode as well, which is the mode that you can just wander around and get historical lessons about Norway and England this time, I suppose. So, in the 10th century. So, that looks all right, doesn't it? Who's the Valhalla fan here? I've forgotten. Who's an Assassin's Creed fan? Edgar, you an Assassin's Creed?
I think you're the Assassin's Creed
isn't it?
fan.
I'm the only one going to be excited by this.
Sounds like it.
I think I do like the DLC packs are worth it. I really enjoyed the one. They're quite a lot of story. I think I reviewed the Oranges one, and the 2 DLC packs were really good, and they were big kind of load of content and took you somewhere else, which again looks like they're doing. So that was exciting.
Yeah, the Ireland one sounds quite interesting.
Yeah,
You can tackle on the folklores and the Gaelic.
I think one before in one of the DLC just took you to an afterlife. It took you to a kind of like a heaven.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. It was in this sort of heaven with all new creatures and stuff. Yeah. And the last bit of news I want to just talk about is Jared Leto's Joker is apparently coming back. He's doing some reshoots for the new Justice League HBO series.
Yeah. You'll get anyone in.
Edgar, have you watched Jared Leto's Joker in the Suicide Squad?
Nope, I've never seen Jared Leto as Joker. Well, I've seen him, but like in screenshots and promotional materials, but not in an actual movie.
No. James, was he a good Joker?
I don't think he was really in the movie, was he? Was he there for about 2 minutes?
I mean, he says for ages, doesn't he? He got all the stuff got cut, didn't it? His stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can say about Jared Leto is that he puts everything into that character. I mean, it's not the best Joker, but it's a different Joker.
Yes.
And at least he tried something different.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But I don't know what they're going to do with him in the Justice League film. I mean, they seem to be putting in as many extra characters as they can find at the moment, because they're bringing in the Green Lantern apparently as well,
right?
And the Lantern Corps, and I think there's some more. more villains as well coming in.
Spider-Man?
I mean, that'll be next. It wouldn't surprise me. Spider-Man and his little cat.
Yeah, no, they are. I think he's just having a go at doing everything he wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 episodes to fill. It's 4 hours of stuff. And it was originally going to cost 40 million, but I think that's gone up to 120 million now. Apparently, that's what I've heard.
Very good.
Very bloody good. Yeah. Good, gentlemen. Let's go on to what games we've been playing this week. Who wants to start? Edgar, what have you been playing?
I can go first.
Yeah.
I've been kind of very light on the gaming part in the last few weeks, so I haven't played that much. And last week, so I played Hearthstone, which is a digital card game, for about 5 years, and I stopped a few months ago, kind of got a bit tired of it. But I think like 2 weeks ago, they launched a special Halloween event, which they kind of do every year. And that basically entails, so usually you play the Hearthstone arena mode with one class. You choose a class, you draft 30 different cards, and then you play against other players who have done the same thing. But for Halloween, they do this special event where you choose 2 classes, and when you're drafting your deck, you get class cards from both. So it creates this kind of crazy and experimental environment where you don't really know what to expect from your opponents, and you get these crazy card combinations which you usually wouldn't see under normal circumstances. So I played a few arena runs and had fun in Hearthstone, basically.
Oh, good. I'm not very good at those digital card games. You're all right, James. You quite enjoy it, don't you?
Yeah, I played that one for about a week.
Oh.
And I moved on to the next one. And the next one. Right. So many of them.
Yeah.
They're decent now.
But that's Blizzard, isn't it? That one. It does that. They were
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, James, what have you been playing?
I've been playing the highly anticipated Cook, Serve, Delicious 3. It's a restaurant sim. And I think when it first got announced, I think you, Gareth, and Neil laughed at how bad it's going to be.
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
But you're wrong.
Ooh.
It's very good.
Good.
Basically, it starts with a post-apocalyptic America, and your restaurant's been blown up. It's completely gone. You're basically dead, or half dead, and you get found by 2 search and rescue robots. I mean,
I didn't expect this.
How did you top that?
I know.
What a narrative. And basically, these robots convince you to start a roadside chef business. So you basically travel all across America selling food out of a food truck.
Wow.
And you got to make up all these meals, prepare the orders, send them out, get them exactly how they want them. You know, you do the burger, put cheese on, put the burger on, some salad.
But how do you do this? You're just picking things up, or are you with the cursor?
There's like a catalogue of ingredients. So you hold the trigger and then choose which one. By clicking the button.
Yeah.
But it's really intense. I mean, you care about 8 orders at once. And they're really impatient.
Did you do the second one of this? Did you do number 2?
I did. And that was stressful as well.
Maybe you were saying it was stressful.
But there's a mode you can turn on where they've got infinite patience. So you just relax.
Infinite patience.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
I know. Yeah, it's really fascinating to make all these different meals. Like you've got cannoli, kimchi, burgers, chicken kebabs, anything you can think of, it's in there. And so much to do. I think there's 387 levels. Last time I counted.
Wow.
So you've got hours and hours.
Yeah.
Of cooking. It's just for fun.
The food looks almost real.
Yeah, it looks more better this time. Yeah. It makes you hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry now. I watched it, a few images, and now I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's only £16.74. So it's worth a go. You like cooking?
Yeah. It sounds. I'm kind of tempted. What did you give it, James? Sorry.
4 out of 5.
Okay.
And the full review is on the website. You want to read it?
Yeah. Let's give it a go.
There's a lot I haven't mentioned, like attacks from rival food trucks.
Can I ask one question before we move on? Yeah. Does the post-apocalypse storyline carry on, or is it just a setup?
No, there's a little bit of additional narrative.
Okay.
In between certain states.
Good.
As you're going across the country.
I thought they might just left it after that. Good. We look forward to that. I've played 2 games, and I'm going to talk about them briefly because I'm still reviewing them. First one is Raji, an Ancient Epic, which came out on Friday. And this follows a young girl who's trying to find her brother who's been kidnapped by demons. And it's based on this really small Indian development company who've looked at their kind of Hindu myths and religion and Balinese kind of myths and religion. If you look at those, it's kind of amazing, kind of like tapestry of gods and monsters and war and fables, and they've kind of tried to put it in and capture this all into this kind of story. And the story and the game plays like almost like a old school Prince of Persia game, with platforming, combat, and exploration, really. And first of all, it's a beautiful, beautiful game. It's stunning. The visuals are really lovely. And it does a great thing. Is like wherever you finish, like if I switched it off, when I load the game back up, there isn't a menu screen. It is a menu screen. It's just there. But it doesn't say start or anything, but your character is asleep wherever you finished. And then when you just like move a key, it just to wake up. It's a really nice little feature.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's great. And what's really lovely, the way there's puzzles in there and the way they kind of feed the stories in of these kind of like myths, these Hindu religious myths, is really well done. The combat is annoying after a while.
Okay.
Sometimes you're like having waves of enemies at you, and after a while you kind of like it gets a bit repetitive, and some of it's really can get quite hard. But that's my only criticism. Everything else is beautiful. There's some just absolutely stunning kind of bits of visual. The visuals are amazing. For this, it looks like a AAA game at some points. For a small company to have done that, it's hats off to you.
Yeah. How much is that?
I think they've put it as $24.99, which I think is right. I think it might struggle at this time of this silly season coming up now, and it's probably 5 to 7 hours, maybe 6 to 7 hours, I reckon, long. Yeah, it's fine by me because I like that kind of length. But I think people might, I think it could be about 18 or something like that. But
yeah, it's a lot to take a chance on.
Yeah,
you're not sure what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm sure to read your review.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Next week.
I think it's exactly that. I think I'm going to view it. I'm going to give it a good mark. I'll put it around a 4, I reckon. And the other game to talk about is a game called Cloudpunk that came out on Friday as well. And really briefly, Cloudpunk is you play in a sort of Blade Runner-y type future, sort of neon skylines. You play a delivery driver through one night, and what you do is you pick up packages in your car and deliver them. And it's
Romeo of the future.
Yeah, you swap between being in the car, in the kind of hover car, and then going into first person and kind of walking and going and pick up a package. But what you're doing is basically listening to stories from people and maybe making deliveries, but hearing a kind of narrative.
And the story's interesting.
Yeah, the writing's great, and it's really fun and interesting, and the world's interesting. It looks really lovely. It looks almost like a Lego Blade Runner. It's a really lovely place. Music's brilliant. Music's brilliant for
ideas.
I know.
We'll get Lego Blade Runner next.
Exactly. But I really recommend it. I'm really enjoying it. It's a long old game. I'm still plowing through it. So it's but I'm really enjoying it. It's just nice to spend a bit of time because you're not going to die, I don't think. I think the worst thing that happens is you run out of petrol. And so it's quite, after dying quite a lot in Rajing at the moment, it's quite nice just to go on this and just be in that world. Yeah, 2 games there I recommend. Right, can I move us on? Because every week we've been trying to do a little feature, and I think we might have a little bit of time. I've lost our time where we are. I think we got a little bit of time. We've got 5. Let's do 5 minutes or so. We've tried this feature for ages, and we're just talking about bugs in games and our favourite kind of bug. Because there was this article that sort of inspired me when I saw the flight sim game that's out now, the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. They discovered a bug where this sort of like weird hole appeared in the earth, didn't it? And it was spiraling down like a thing, but people were really enjoying it. I was trying to fly through it, and I did think about people enjoying bugs in games. There's 2 things. You can really enjoy a bug, it makes you laugh, you share it, or bugs make you can't even finish the game. You two, what are your favourite bugs or your experiences? James, what about you?
I think the 2 that stand out the most in 2 very different games. There's one in Call of Duty World at War, and you could get underneath the map online. So you could be underneath the map, killing people, and they couldn't see you or get you.
Wow.
It was the most annoying exploit to be on the end of. But if you were doing it, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You get kills galore. But the other one is, I think it was Farming Simulator 15.
Yeah.
It's more of a glitch than a bug, I suppose. But it was in the tutorial, and I connected the tractor to a trailer, and somehow I jackknifed it, and it started wiggling like a snake, the trailer, and then next minute I was feeling in the air like there's a tornado, and I landed on the roof of the farm.
I like that.
I couldn't do anything else. I was stuck on the roof.
Wow.
And that was the most exciting moment in Farming Simulator history.
It's in first person? Remind me, Farming Sim, isn't it? Was it in third?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were first person, flown up in the air and landed on the roof.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I like that. It's like
I'll never forget.
Good.
Yeah, it was like Dorothy.
Yeah, Dorothy was awesome. Edgar, what about you? Hates, likes, anything?
I think I have one for both.
Okay.
So for hates, I would probably go with World Enduro Rally. You probably haven't heard of that game. I don't think anyone's heard of that game. It's a game that I reviewed. Oh, you have? Poor you. and poor me for reviewing it. So basically, I reviewed it like, I don't know, a year ago or so. And it's a simple game. It's a 2D game where you drive a bike, perform tricks, and try to reach the finish line. That's basically it. And when I was playing, I think one of the last levels, I performed a jump with the bike, and the bike went off the screen up into the air, and it wouldn't come down. And the more I pressed the acceleration button, the further up into the air it went. And I don't remember how far it had gone up into the air. I couldn't see it. I had no idea if it'll ever come back. I think I stopped pressing buttons, and then I don't know how long it took for the bike to come back down. Wow. I think I finished the level, but it was one of the reasons why. Well, first of all, the game was pretty awful, and you can see that it justifies its cost of what, like 79p, something like that. But a bug like that basically made the game unplayable. On the more positive note, I also reviewed Subnautica, also 2 years ago now. And that's an exploration game which is set mostly in the water. You're swimming through water, you're exploring the underwater depths, you're escaping monsters, gathering resources. What happened to me once, and this is a fun bug, it might be a little annoying to some. For me, it was fun. Upon respawning once, water stopped rendering. There was no water in the game whatsoever. I was floating through the air, and I saw everything that was under the water. Flora, fauna, sand, creatures, everything.
Wow.
And so I floated up in the air for I swam for, I don't know, for a couple of minutes and just took it all in. It was an unusual experience. I have a video of it. I might share that later, actually.
Wow.
That was a crazy one, and it's a fun bug. I think it's a fun bug.
It's fun, isn't it? I think that's the thing. There's having these kind of bits that you just enjoy, or just go, "Wow, that's just the world's broken for a bit," and it's something quite nice about that, isn't it? It's like you're peeking behind the curtain for a little bit. I like that.
And it's also not like, unless you're intentionally testing for bugs, it's not something that you can necessarily recreate. So there might not be that many people who experienced the same thing that I did, and I think that's what also makes it fun. It kind of makes my experience relatively unique. So yeah. I think that's the fun aspect.
Lovely. Yeah, exactly. More bugs. I like the bugs. I just had one recently with Mafia, I think I've got it on the Let's Play. Oh, maybe I haven't got the Let's Play out. The new Mafia, the remaster version. I got into the car and the car just disappeared, and they were just driving. Because you drive a lot. It was just the two of them, in the invisible car for ages. It was just making me laugh. It was about 20 minutes of it. Brilliant. And of course, there was a great moment I had with GTA 5, and of course, there's big open world goals. There's always something that will go wrong in the most polished of games. And I remember this. I was walking along and I got to a beach party. And in GTA 5, they have beach parties, and there was people playing a guitar. And I accidentally bumped into someone, and they fell into the fire. And they started screaming, and everyone started screaming around it. And the person in the fire died. And I just sort of waited for a moment, and then they came back and started doing the beach party, and someone sat on the dead burnt body, because that was part of where it was. Open world stuff like that I love.
That sounds a bit too realistic.
Yeah, it was.
People do have short memories.
Yeah. No, good bugs, fun bugs, but of course the bugs that make us that we can't carry on are the most annoying ones. But, yeah. Good. Now, before we leave, we've got an interesting thing, because we've got a competition at the moment. The Xbox Hub has just reached 3,000 YouTube subscribers, which is great for us. Mm-hmm. So hey, go onto the YouTube channel, please subscribe. But also, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do 2 giveaways here, and all the information is on the Xbox Hub site. But also, it will be in this
podcast notes.
Thank you, James. And gameplay-wise, the first one, we've got 5 codes for the Halloween-y type game, Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle, reviewed by Dave, and he gave it a 4 out of 5. What do we know about this game, you two?
It's based on Friday the 13th.
Yes.
It's a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game, and it's a bit like, isn't it, some other game that's come out recently? I can't quite remember. Have a look at it. It looks good. It looks fun. And the next prize... It
doesn't look too scary.
It doesn't, not scary. It's
nice for everyone.
Yeah. Reminded me of The Tourist, that game. That's what it reminded me of. It just came out recently. Which I really liked. And some might say the bigger one, is we've got a couple of headsets to give away. And so big thanks to the headsets of the Epos Sennheiser. Have I said that wrong? Sennheiser. Sennheiser. Epos Sennheiser. We've got the GSP 601, the GSP 602 headsets. Neil's reviewed them recently. He loves them. And we've got a blue and tan colorway, superb. What's that mean? And there's a black and white version of the same headset. So have a look at the review. And normally they kind of go to about £199 each. So that's a good deal, isn't it? That's a really good deal. That's a great deal.
Headset.
Really good. I want that headset. Forget it. The deal's off. It has been won. I've won it. No, but please have a look at the site and have a look at the podcast notes to find out what you need to do and get involved straight away. It's easy and it's free. Thank you very much. Now, gentlemen, what are we looking forward to next week?
Not a lot.
No, not a lot.
It should be Watch Dogs, but I don't think I'm going to buy it.
Why not?
We can just wait.
You're gonna
wait until
new gen.
Yeah.
Edgar, what have you got?
I didn't have anything, but now that I think about it, Halloween maybe.
Good.
Even though I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I think it's a nice excuse to watch some horror movies, which I love. So I'll probably be rewatching, I don't know, Alien or The Thing for the 1000th time.
Yeah. Good plan. I like the idea of that. Bit of a horror movie. I think I'm looking forward to Watch Dogs, and but I'm saying with James, I'm not sure whether I should wait. I really am thinking about that. Waiting for the next gen. Ooh. And Little Hope's out as well, which is the Supermassive Games follow-up to Man and Medan. And that's another one that could be good fun. Lovely, but thank you very much. Now, James, where can we find you?
As always, on Instagram and Twitter at OKidUKO.
Good. Edgar, where can we find you?
Same spots as before. Edgar Wolf on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me at GB Briley on Twitter and Twitch. But for now, thank you, gentlemen, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.